Hi guys, Alec Peirce at the ranch. Now I need to clarify that I'm not at the ranch. We do not have black leopards at our ranch in Ontario, Canada. Trust me on that. I'm actually in South Africa. If you've been following my channel, thank you very much, subscribers. Following my channel at the ranch, you'll know that I'm doing a little short series here about guns and hunting because my dear wife and I are here in South Africa. This is our 4th trip to Africa. It's a beautiful country. If you have the opportunity and resources to visit it, don't hesitate. It really is a beautiful country. And South Africa in particular, very sophisticated, very modern. Everything that we have in Toronto, New York City, Los Angeles, they have here in South Africa. The food, the washrooms, everything is the same as what we're used to. Very safe, very easy country to visit as well. And a lot of fun. Many, many activities. Just visiting and viewing the country itself and the wildlife is a very popular tourist attraction. And we've done that. We saw the Big Five at a game viewing camp a few days ago. But now we're here at Black Leopard Camp, close to Kruger National Park. And we came here for a specific reason, and that was to hunt. One of our traditional activities with my family has been for many years is hunting. And if you looked at my series, if you've been watching, you know I've done this short series on hunting. And the very first one of these was about that hunting tradition and how it's important to many, many people. What hunting tradition is and why it's important. My last one I talked about guns, the guns that you might want to have at your ranch, the guns that we have at our ranch, and with differences depending on your specific needs that you might want to have. This particular short video, I want to talk about gun safety. Now, I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of gun safety, not the stuff that you learn at your range officer or if you take a gun safety course. And you should. If you probably know this, if you guys are gun nuts, and you say to me, I've been handling guns for a long, long time. Well, I started handling guns when I was 6 years old. I'm 70. So do the math. Don't talk to me about it. You've handled guns for a long time. I have as well. It means nothing. Old people can get hurt as well. Gun safety is very important. It has to be on your mind all the time. And if you have not taken a gun safety course, in most places they're not required, why don't you go and get a book, borrow a book from somebody that has one, flip through it. You might actually learn something. I like to do it once in a while. That never hurts. In most jurisdictions now, in order to get a gun, you need to take a gun safety course. It's not a gun license. I know a lot of my American friends down south, you're paranoid about having to take a gun safety course, and you get a ticket that says, yes, you're safe to get a gun because you think that's some kind of a government intervention. No. You have a driver's license, you learn how to drive, am I not right? If you're a scuba diver, you learn how to scuba dive and you get a certificate so you can how you scuba dive, and on it goes. It makes a lot of sense to most people in the world that if you want to enjoy, have the fun that comes from owning a gun, that you should have some kind of education. And that's what gun safety courses are all about. We've taken one. And in that course, you learn the various things you need to have. So at the ranch, as an example, we follow not only the legal requirements of our guns, but also we follow gun safety. So we have them locked up when we're not at home, and the kids have access, but know exactly what they can do, what they can't do, and so on. I mentioned this in this particular episode because I'm not at home. No, I'm here in Africa, hunting in Africa. And how does that apply to gun safety? What do I want to talk about with gun safety? Well, I've hunted in many, many places around the world, all over North America and Hawaii as well, and here in Africa. And depending on what you're hunting and how much hunting you're going to do will affect how you conduct yourself. Let me explain. Many, many times I've gone on hunting trips where the primary reason for the trip is hunting. I've been to Montana, Wyoming, and Texas, and so on. And when you go on those hunting trips, generally speaking, you will take your own gun. You'll take your own gun. So you're already familiar with the gun. You have the right cartridges. You know it's proper for the game and the conditions and meets the legal requirements if there are any and so on. And that makes it very easy. However, on a trip like this, where my wife and I have come to Africa now for our 4th visit to Africa, where we're doing an awful lot of activities. We went scuba diving with the great white sharks. Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy, but anyway, we did that. And we toured around South Africa to visit some of the wonderful sites. We spent a week in Kruger National Park just viewing wildlife, saw the Big Five. We actually interacted with them. There was a leopard, a big leopard, so close I could have reached over the truck and touched it if I'd been allowed to, but they are wild animals, and I'm not sure what the reaction would be. We had a great time. And now we decided to spend a few days hunting here at the quite well-known and famous Black Leopard Ranch, again close to Kruger. And we've had a wonderful time. In fact, just this morning, both my wife and I were out and were successful in hunting for some of these incredibly beautiful African animals. So, but we didn't bring our own guns for this trip. We're not going to bring, it's a 3-week trip. We're only going to be hunting for 2 days out of 3 weeks, so we're not going to haul guns all the way from Canada down to Africa for that. So we borrowed guns, or were given guns when we arrived here at the hunting camp. A couple of things about safety that may not be in the book. Some of them are, some are not. So yesterday, the young man here at the ranch, the manager said, okay, Alec, we have a good rifle for you. It happens to be a 30-06 Mauser. If that means anything, it will to a lot of you, with a 3-9 and a high-quality scope on it. Very, very good gun for the game that we're hunting. Okay, and he handed me the rifle. Well, right away, it was the first thing I did when he handed the rifle. It's the first thing you always do once you get a gun into your hands. It doesn't matter what kind of a gun it is, a shotgun, a rifle, a handgun, doesn't matter. The first thing you always do is open the action to make sure that it's not loaded. He said it wasn't loaded, and I believed him. But I opened the action anyway. Standard safety procedures, that's what you would do. I tend to leave the action open when it's not actually being used. This gun with the action open is perfectly safe. It can't be fired, can't hurt anybody unless it falls on your toe. This is no longer a gun. At this moment, this is not a gun. This is a tool made of wood and metal, a bit like a hammer on your toe, hammer or gun. But you understand what I'm saying? Without a cartridge inserted in this, it's not a gun, it's just a tool. So that's the first thing you do. Now, the other problem you face if you're traveling and you're not taking your own guns with you, your own weapons with you, is that you're not familiar with it. I know the Mauser action pretty well, although I do not own a Mauser. And so I took a few minutes and I chambered the cartridge. I checked the action to see how far I had to pull it back. It happens with this particular gun, this Mauser. It's a long action. It has to come back a long way to eject the used cartridge and put a new one in. You have to be very careful to do that, otherwise you'll end up with a jam, or at worst, or at the very least, you won't get a new cartridge in there when you want it. I checked the action of the safety to be sure that I knew exactly how the safety worked, what was on, what was off, and all those things. Then, of course, I tried the gun for comfort. I tried the gun and I checked the action of the scope. Is the scope relief right for me? Is the scope diopter setting correct for my eye? Is it the right distance for me? Does the gun fit my shoulder? So all of those things are consideration, and yes, there's safety. Some of them might be comfort, but comfort is safety too. If the gun is not comfortable, then it may not perform the way you want it to. If it doesn't perform the way you want it to, it might not be safe. So those are some of the considerations that I bumped into when I came on this particular visit to South Africa and had to borrow a gun. I don't like doing that, but this gun performed beautifully. The scope is excellent. The gun performed beautifully. 30-06, which I'm quite familiar with. It's a very popular cartridge all over the world, and North America in particular is very popular. But those are some of the things that if you're going to be traveling and you have an opportunity to go hunting at your destination, keep in the back of your mind. Number one, handling the gun, moving it between people. Always be sure when you hand it to someone it's unloaded, and that person who's getting it should check as well for their own safety. And then take a little bit of time, get familiar with the action. How does it shoot? Safety, action of itself. If it's a bolt action, how does the action work? Check the scope. Make sure it actually feels comfortable and will do what you want it to do. Just a couple of points. And some of these aren't in the gun safety books, so it doesn't hurt. And I was thinking about this as I was on this little hunt and had the rifle handed to me. I thought, gosh, maybe these are some thoughts that I have in my mind that other people might appreciate. So there you go. A little bit about gun safety. Anyway, here I am in South Africa at the Black Leopard Camp, and I'm enjoying it very, very much. If you get the chance, do it yourself too. Don't forget about the gun safety. Okay, talk to you real soon. Alec Peirce at the ranch in South Africa. Bye for now.